Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Keegan here. I'm back with another video for you guys, and today I'm bringing you guys another vlog video once again. This is going to be vlog number 58, and today it is Saturday, June 29th, 2024, and the time right now it is 2 o'clock. And yep, today is going to be another story time related vlog. And today's story is something very recently. It's something that actually just happened to me yesterday. And before we get into it, I want to ask you guys something. You know what really sucks? Nosebleeds. Don't you just hate it when your nose bleeds for no reason at all? Or if you pick at your nose too much, it starts to bleed? Not that that's happened to me when I pick my nose. Now, I don't get nosebleeds very often, but lately I've been getting some nosebleeds. Some minor, one major that went on for like 45 minutes. But there is one nosebleed that is so bad, it is by far the worst nosebleed that's ever happened to me in my life. Yep, we're going to be talking about the worst nosebleed that I've ever had in my life, which it all happened yesterday. Now, if you keep up with my community tabs, then you probably already know what happened in the story, but I'm still going to go into detail of like what happened to me yesterday. Now, just a fair warning, this story is going to be somewhat gross and somewhat disturbing with some descriptions. So, if you are eating, you might want to skip or just come back later. So, viewer discretion is advised. But anyways, that's that. So, let's just get right into it. So, this all happened when I woke up yesterday morning. I got up like 5 or 10 minutes after 7. I usually get up around 5, but I was up late the night before because I was at the movies and I saw Miller's Crossing, which I actually reviewed earlier today in another video. But anyways, when I got up, I felt something running down my nose, and I thought it was a runny nose, but then it was just blood. It was a bloody nose. So I quickly got out of my bed in my undershorts and just walked to the bathroom to put some some pieces of toilet paper in my nose, well, on my right nostril, because that's where it started. And I was waiting patiently for a few minutes, thinking it was going to stop, but I was very much mistaken as it started to escalate and it wouldn't stop. So I put a big chunk, like just squeezed my nose tight to put pressure on it, and then the other nostril started to bleed. And this went on for a good hour, and it felt like it was never going to stop. But luckily, my mother was home that morning when it happened. So we were all very concerned about what was going on with my nose. So I got some clothes on while covering up my nose. And my mother and I drove to the hospital to bring me in and see what was wrong, because it wasn't going to stop. So we left like after an hour. A good hour after the bleeding started. Now, the good thing is my mom actually works at the hospital that we went to. She's not a doctor or anything. She's a unit clerk and she has her own office. She works for like staffing or whatever. But anyways, my mother, like when we were on the way to the hospital, my mom gave me like a roll of toilet paper to give me more pieces of toilet paper to put on my nose to cover up. And there were I had to change pieces of toilet paper every few minutes because it wouldn't stop bleeding, and it was so bad. I could even feel the blood going down my throat, and at times I felt like I hardly even tasted it because it was that bad. And by the time we pulled up into the parking lot, there was a lot of blood in my mouth, so I had to spit it out like when I got out of my mom's car. It was seriously that bad. So we got in, we walked over to my mom's office, and then we made our way to the check-in to check me in. They asked me some questions, and they gave me a little white wristband to put in because I was at the hospital after all. And after that, we went to the waiting room where we had to wait quite a while, and they gave us some tissues, a box of tissues, in case I needed it. So we were in the waiting room for a good long while. I think we were waiting for like an hour or so because it was a little slow. and yeah, it was bad. I would have to change the tissue every couple minutes, go to the closest garbage bin to spit out some blood, and then there were a few times I had to go to the washroom and I had to use some paper towels to cover up my nose. But the problem with the paper towels in the washroom is that they were really shitty quality and they wouldn't last long. So my hands got covered in blood and I had to wash it because it was just some cheap, shitty paper towels. It's not like the ones you get from like the grocery store. These ones were just so shitty. And at one time while we were waiting, I started having a panic attack because my hands felt really numb. I couldn't move my fingers and my body was tingling all over, and it was just really out of control, and I couldn't stop holding my nose, and I couldn't because my hands were so numb. I couldn't even feel my fingers. And yeah, it was so fucking bad. And if you've ever had a panic attack before, then you know how not fun it is. And then eventually I was able to walk. I had to just go to the washroom and just go back to the washroom again, but there was blood coming down my nose and it was going on the floor because I was trying really hard to cover up my nose with my very numb hands, and it was just a fucking nightmare. And finally, when I came out of the bathroom, the nurse was ready to see me, so we followed the nurse into one of those, I don't know what you call those bays where they have like the little beds you can lay on and stuff. And the nurse was examining me for the doctor. And I was really thirsty. My mom got me like a drink of water because I was really thirsty. And that wasn't really a good idea because of all the blood I swallowed. And just a fair warning, this next part is going to get a little gross within detail. So yeah, just a heads up. So while the nurse was examining me, I felt the urge to throw up. And I knew I was going to throw up because I had a little burp. Like, you know when you vomit sometimes, when you feel like you got a burp, and when you do, you just feel like it's all rushing up to your throat. Yep, so they gave me the little garbage bin and I threw up, and it was all the blood that I swallowed from my bloody nose because it was so bad that I threw up all the blood, and holy shit, it was just like, that was like one of the scariest things that's ever happened to me in my life. Like, holy fuck. So after I threw up all the blood, I was feeling very shaky, probably because of the aftermath of throwing up, and that I lost a lot of blood because of the bloody nose and the vomit. So yeah, after the nurse was done examining me, we had to wait for the doctor, so we had to wait a little while. And then finally, when the doctor showed up, he asked me some questions and asked me to put some pressure over my nose and hold it for like 20 minutes straight. And so I did, and we waited. And by the time the doctor came back, he put a string of gauze or whatever that you put in your nose. It was like a little worm going in my nose. It was very uncomfortable when it went in my nose. And then he put another piece of gauze like around my nose where he put it with tape, and I had to hold it for, well, not necessarily hold it, just squeeze it a little bit like on the soft spot of the nose for like 20 more minutes. And so I did that for another 20 minutes. And by the time the 20 minutes was up, we had to wait a while for the doctor to come. The doctor was a bit late than expected, which that was fine. I waited patiently. I had my phone with me. I was watching YouTube and stuff, checking social media while I waited. And then when he finally showed up, he took off the gauze off my nose and pulled it out of my nose. And let me tell you, when he pulled it out of my nose, it was just like, god damn, that was so uncomfortable. And finally, my nose was officially, it stopped bleeding. It was bleeding for a good 4 or 5 hours or something. It was really, really fucking bad. It is without a doubt the worst nosebleed I've ever had in my life. And the doctor said I was okay, but I think there was like something in my nose that was like damaged. Like, my nose wasn't broken or anything, but there was something inside my nose that was like damaged or something. I don't exactly remember what it was he said. So he told me to try to take it easy for the rest of the day, try not to get into anything stressful or anything that would raise my blood pressure, or otherwise it would make my nose start to bleed again, and try not to sneeze or anything like that. Which thankfully I didn't sneeze, otherwise that would have been bad. So after being in the hospital for about like maybe 4 hours or something like that, I was free to go, and my nose was stopped bleeding. And let me tell you, that was one of the worst moments in my life. It was legit one of the scariest things in my life. Like, I thought I was gonna die from a nosebleed, but thankfully I'm okay. I'm still here. But the story's not done yet. So my mother and I left the hospital sometime after 12:30, and before we went home, we went to go to Tim Hortons to get something to eat because we haven't had breakfast or lunch yet, because we were basically at the hospital the whole morning trying to get my nose to stop bleeding. And after we were eating, I had some, like, on the way back I was eating a donut, and then I started to felt like I had to throw up again. And unfortunately I did. I threw up all over the inside of my mom's car. I was on the passenger seat, so the side, like the door and stuff, was really dirty, and it just stank up the whole car. And I felt really bad after that. Like, fuck. It was just all the food and the remainder of the blood that I swallowed from when my nose was bleeding. But thankfully that was the last time I threw up for the rest of the day. But yeah, and when I got home I relaxed for the rest of the evening, didn't really do much. And today my nose is a lot better, and I hope to God that no nosebleed like that will ever happen again. But yeah, that is without a doubt the worst nosebleed I've ever had in my 22, almost 23 years of living. But yeah, it was some very scary stuff that happened. I thought I was gonna die from the nosebleed, but I didn't. I'm still here making videos for you guys. And I don't know why, but while I was recording this, I was thinking about this one scene in the TV show 6 Feet Under. Like, in the opening scene from one of the episodes, there was a lady who dies of a nosebleed, and it kind of got me scared thinking that that was going to happen to me, but thankfully that didn't happen. I don't think you can actually die from a nosebleed in real life. Well, not that I know of. But I don't know, but this, looking back at what happened yesterday, kind of reminded me of that scene in 6 Feet Under. But yeah, nosebleeds suck. And what happened to me yesterday was without a doubt the worst nosebleed that's ever happened to me. And yep, so that's basically it. That's going to be it for the story. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, feel free to leave a like, comment below, subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and share the video with your friends. And what is the worst nosebleed that's ever happened to you? Let me know in the comment section below. And one more thing before I end the video, I'm going to be doing a live stream sometime this evening. So I hope to see you guys all on the live stream. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it. So until next time, this is Keegan Shepard signing off. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. And yeah, take care, everybody. Peace out. Bye-bye.